Look, I'm sick of all this bullshit floating around about remote jobs. Everyone's selling this fantasy of making six figures from your couch with zero experience, and most of it is complete garbage. And today, I'm not gonna be peddling some get-rich-quick scheme. I'm gonna be showing you actual remote jobs that are hiring right now, that are genuinely simple to do, and offer real stability in this dumpster fire economy, and don't require you to become some kind of tech genius. And here's the truth that nobody wants to talk about. While AI is advancing, it's not taking over everything. According to recent data, only about 13% of occupations could potentially be fully automated. And as Vox recently reported, the physical is lagging the cognitive, meaning chatbots are advancing much faster than robots. And this means that there is a massive category of jobs that remain valuable and they can't be replaced easily by our robot overlords. So that's gonna be our sweet spot today. And when I say no technical skills, I don't mean that you can be a complete technophobe. You still need basic computer literacy. You need to know how to use email, navigate websites without having a panic attack, and you need to work with standard Office applications like Word or Google Docs. But you won't need to code, master complex software, or troubleshoot technical nightmares. Now, if you appreciate me making this type of content, before we dive in, do me a solid and smash that like button. It helps the algorithm stop burying content that actually helps people instead of just entertaining them. All right, so first up is going to be media search analyst. And this position is blowing up right now, especially with companies like TELUS Digital. Now, as a media search analyst, you're basically the human quality control for search engines and app stores. And you'll evaluate search results and tell companies if their algorithms are returning useful shit or complete garbage. And I found this LinkedIn post from a guy who worked as a media analyst, and he said that what he loves most is spotting trends before they explode and getting paid to have opinions about content. His background, political science and media studies, not some fancy computer science degree. And his team is apparently super supportive, which matters when you're working remotely and your only coworker is your cat. Now, what makes this job simple is you're essentially just giving your opinion as a consumer on whether search engine results suck or not. So just about everyone out there is pretty good at complaining, including myself. And this is something that you already do every day when you Google stuff. So no coding, no complex systems, just reviewing content and saying this is helpful or this is trash. Sounds pretty reasonable, right? So what makes this job stable is the human element. AI can process information, but it's terrible at understanding cultural context and subjective quality. And companies need actual humans to tell them if their search engine algorithms are working or if they're serving up garbage. And according to Glassdoor, media search analysts at TELUS Digital make between $70,000 and $126,000 a year with a median income of around $93,000. But make sure you do your own research because these numbers change faster than TikTok trends. Now, for requirements, you typically need native level English fluency. Sorry, Google Translate users, that's not enough. Familiarity with current trends in apps, music, and videos. An understanding of cultural affairs. Yes, knowing what's happening on Twitter counts. And experience with Apple products is often preferred. So there's finally a job where your iPhone addiction is going to pay off for you. And the best part is most positions let you work whenever you want, and there's often no previous professional experience required, just the ability to pass their assessment process. Now, before we move on, quick question. Have you been thinking about leveling up your skills without going into student loan debt? Well, I've partnered with Coursera to give you 14 days of free access to thousands of courses. Just click the link in the description and the pinned comment below, and their certificates actually mean something to employers, unlike half the random online courses out there that suck. And I'll have a list of certificates and courses that we recommend that have helped people get jobs, so check that out down in the description in the pinned comment below. All right, next up is healthcare patient coordinator. And this role is exploding because our population is aging and the healthcare system is a bureaucratic nightmare that needs human navigators more now than ever. And in this position, you're scheduling appointments, verifying insurance. Yes, our healthcare system is still a mess, so you have to do this. And you're gonna be following up with patients. And you're essentially like a traffic controller for the healthcare system. The first point of contact before people get lost in the medical maze. And what makes this job simple is that the processes are clearly defined and you follow established protocols, right? So you don't have to be some kind of genius and make some kind of, super high level decisions all the time. You're basically just following established protocols for scheduling and verification. And the systems are designed to be dummy proof, and employers provide thorough training because they know how expensive mistakes can be. Now, I found this care coordinator named Katie who wrote about her typical day, and her commute is literally walking from her coffee pot to her desk. So no more rush hour traffic or office small talk about someone's boring weekend. And she manages what they call inboxes, where they handle messages from nurses. And one thing that stood out to me was when she said that her best days are when she actually makes a difference in someone's life, sometimes just by listening after they've had a shit day. And that human connection is exactly why these jobs remain stable even as technology advances. Now, as a former pharmacist myself, I can tell you healthcare admin is one of the most stable sectors out there. People will always get sick, and the administrative side is growing faster than clinical roles. It's essentially recession-proof, and it's automation resistant because it requires actual human empathy. Now, according to Glassdoor, patient care coordinators make about $50,000 a year. So it's not getting rich money, but it's definitely paying the bills money. And what I like about this role is it leverages basic organizational skills and human empathy, something that AI is absolutely terrible at. And healthcare organizations need real people who can understand nuanced situations and communicate effectively with patients who might be scared, confused, or they just had the worst news of their life. Now, by the way, guys, if you're curious about how I've grown this YouTube channel and how I make these videos so entertaining yet educational, I am going to be hosting a live YouTube training on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I basically just revealed the exact strategies that I used to grow my channel to multiple six figures per month. So that's another free training for you. So the next job is donation support representative. And this is an entry-level position that's always in demand because charities always need money.
Donate, donate, donate in a hurry.
And in this role, you'll handle inbound donation calls for nonprofits. And it's primarily data entry with the donor on the line, and calls typically last under 4 minutes. Perfect for people who hate long conversations. And what makes this job simple is that you're essentially just taking down information, right? Name, address, payment details, and entering it into a database. And the calls are short, the scripts are straightforward, and the systems are designed for people who aren't tech wizards. So this is incredibly stable work because charitable organizations always need money, and donors prefer talking to real human beings when they're giving their hard-earned cash to them. Think about it. Nonprofits will always need funding, and people want to feel good about their donations, not talk to a robot. Now, you remember that ALS Ice Bucket Challenge that took over social media back in 2014? Well, during those few weeks, the ALS Association received over $115 million from more than 2.5 million donors. And behind the scenes, donation support representatives were working overtime processing all those contributions, while celebrities were just dumping water on their heads with a little bit of ice in it. And someone had to make sure that all that money actually made it to ALS research. Now, according to Glassdoor, donor services representatives make around $46,000 a year. Not yacht money, but definitely pay your rent money. And what makes this position great for beginners is the flexibility. Many companies offer 24/7 availability to set your own schedule, with the highest call volumes during the nights and the weekends. So it's perfect if you're a night owl or you need to work around other commitments. Now, by the way, drop a comment below telling me which of these jobs sounds most interesting to you, and I'm curious which ones you think might be the best fit for you and your situation. Number 4 on the list is going to be accounts payable or accounts receivable clerks. Now, this role involves processing invoices and payments, tracking financial documents, and ensuring that everything is properly recorded in the company's system. And what makes this job simple is that it follows a consistent, predictable workflow. You're essentially checking that numbers match up and entering information into accounting software that's designed to be user-friendly. And you don't need an accounting degree or some kind of fancy certification, just basic attention to detail and basic math skills that you learned in middle school. So every business, regardless of size or industry, needs to process payments, which makes this position incredibly stable. So it's a fundamental business function that isn't going to go away. And as long as companies buy and sell things, they'll need someone to process those transactions. And while some aspects can be automated, the verification and exception handling still needs human oversight. And according to Glassdoor, the estimated total pay for an accounts payable or accounts receivable specialist or accounts receivable clerk is around $57,000 a year, with an average base salary of $49,000. And that's not bad for a job that doesn't require specialized technical skills or a fancy accounting degree. Now, while there is software that automates part of this process, businesses still need human oversight to handle exceptions, plus verify information and ensure accuracy. And the combination of attention to detail and basic accounting knowledge makes this a solid career choice that isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Now, by the way, if you're thinking, Shane, I love these ideas for jobs, but I still don't know how to actually land them. And if you're serious about landing a remote job in the next 30 days, I've created something special for you. It's my 30-day remote job landing challenge. And this gives you daily action steps to level up your job hunt and land that dream work from anywhere position. Link is in the description and the pinned comment below. Check it out. It's completely free. All right, next on the list is going to be e-commerce order support specialist. And in this role, you'll be tracking customer orders, resolving basic issues, and applying standard company policies to handle customer inquiries. And it's basically customer service, but for online shopping. And what makes this job simple is that you're working with established processes and scripts. Most companies have clear guidelines for handling different types of customer situations. The technical requirements are minimal. You're mostly using user-friendly management systems that are designed to be straightforward. And if you can navigate Amazon as a shopper, you can learn these systems. And this position offers impressive levels of stability because e-commerce continues to grow exponentially. According to industry data, e-commerce sales reached $4.2 trillion worldwide in 2020, representing 18% of the world's total retail sales. And that number keeps climbing. As more businesses move online, the need for customer service representatives who can handle order issues remotely has never been greater. So according to Glassdoor, the estimated total pay for an order support specialist is around $47,000 a year, with positions specifically in e-commerce averaging higher at $63,000 a year. And what I love about this job is the growth potential. Starting in order support often provides a pathway to other e-commerce roles as you gain experience with the business. And many e-commerce managers started in customer service positions and worked their way up as they learned the business from the ground up. Next up is mortgage loan processor. And in this role, you'll be reviewing and organizing loan documentation, verifying information, and following established guidelines to move mortgage applications through the application process. And what makes this job simple is you're following clearly established checklists and procedures, okay? You don't need to be some kind of genius for this. You don't need to make complex lending decisions. That's basically the underwriter's job. You're essentially gathering and organizing documents, checking for completeness, and moving applications through a predefined workflow. It's like being a traffic cop for paperwork. And despite market fluctuations, mortgage processing remains a stable career because people will always need homes. And the documentation required for mortgages is substantial and requires human verification. And while AI might help with parts of the process, the critical human judgment and verification can't be fully automated due to regulatory requirements and the unique circumstances of each applicant. So according to Glassdoor, the estimated total pay for a mortgage loan processor is about $96,000 a year. And that's pretty good money for a job that doesn't require coding skills or technical expertise. Now, this position requires attention to detail and the ability to follow procedures, but it doesn't demand specialized technical skills beyond basic computer literacy and document management. So if you're organized and detail-oriented, this could be a perfect fit for you. Coming next is administrative support, particularly in government positions. Now, this role involves processing forms and applications, following procedural guidelines, and providing general administrative assistance. And it's really the backbone of any organization, especially government agencies. And what makes this job simple is that the work typically involves routine tasks with clear instructions and established procedures. Government processes are well documented, and you're generally just following predefined workflows. The technical requirements are minimal, basic office software skills are usually sufficient, and if you can use Microsoft Word and Excel, you're already halfway there. Now, government operations are about as stable as it gets in terms of employment. At least historically, even during recessions, government jobs have been some of the most stable jobs out there. And while there might be shifts between departments, the overall demand for administrative support remains consistent. Now, budget cuts may come and go. You know, we have the whole Doge situation happening right now, so we don't really know what's going to happen with that. But the fundamental paperwork of government never disappears, right? This is something you always have to do. Everything has to be mega documented. And these positions often come with excellent job security, especially once you pass the probationary period. Now, according to Glassdoor, the estimated total pay is around $53,000 a year. So not bad. And there's other positions you can move into down the line that pay a lot more. And what makes government administrative positions particularly attractive is the benefits package, which often includes comprehensive healthcare, retirement plans, and paid time off that exceeds private sector offerings. And many people stay in these roles for decades because of the stability and the benefits. Now, one thing I want to say is remember what Forbes recently noted. AI cannot build relationships, resolve conflicts, or foster trust the way that humans can. And all of these jobs leverage those distinctly human abilities. So the key takeaway here is that stability doesn't always come from technical complexity. It often comes from positions that require human judgment, empathy, communication, and attention to detail in ways that technology simply can't replicate yet. So if you like these, but you're looking for more options, check out my video on 15 boring but realistic work from home jobs that are always hiring by clicking right here.